What is up, CSGs? Your Houston Rockets are down 3-1 to the Warriors, which, I'm not going to lie. That's definitely not where you want to be as a Rockets fan. Probably by all accounts, you might say the series is over unless we have a 3-1 comeback in us. But at this point, all you have to do is take one game at a time, right? So the first thing the Rockets have to do is win at home on Wednesday against the Warriors, who are going to be coming here to try to put us to our misery. The game 4 was probably, I would say, you guys know I'm pretty laid back with the analysis and how I watch the games. Everything is gravy, blah, blah, blah. That game hurt. Not going to lie. Off rip, that game hurt. That was a painful game to watch because it was right there. It was right there for the taking. And that was not our best game, obviously. But, we had Şengün step up, Amen step up, Fred stepped up when it really mattered. And they were able to keep it close and keep clawing back. And it came down to the last play where Şengün had an isolation against Draymond, and Draymond won, right? Draymond won. That's why he's one of the best defenders, in my opinion, in NBA history. But I mean, that was, it was a playoff level game, big shot making, a lot of just crazy stuff happening. The physicality in the series is crazy. Draymond was unhinged again, getting away with just crazy fouls. The refs really, they just let him do whatever he wants, and it's pretty nuts. Converting a flagrant foul to a technical foul to keep him in the game was nuts. Him having 5 fouls and somehow making it through, even though he was being aggressive, was nuts. But young team, and I know that's a hard excuse for people to listen to, but the guys are young. But let's talk about the game. So standouts for me, I got Fred VanVleet, 8 of 12 shooting from 3. His shot was very much needed. He was hitting some big shots. Down the stretch, kind of fell off a little bit, but Fred showed up. Fred showed up. You could tell that he knew the importance of the game. You could tell the Warriors knew the importance of the game because they played Jimmy Butler, right? And Jimmy was probably not 1,000,000%, but if I'm Steve Kerr, I'm thinking we got to bring the sledgehammer to put them out their misery in this game, because if you get a 3-1 lead, it's pretty much over by historical standards. Now, I'm not saying the Rockets don't have a chance, but it's very slim. I think Şengün's second half was very, very much needed for him. I was getting a little worried. In the first half of the game, Şengün looked scared. He looked petrified of Draymond. He didn't want nothing. I've never seen him call for so many off-ball screens and go into the corner on his own. I'm like, bro, get into action. Get in there, set a screen, go get the ball. And he was just ducking the smoke. And when they sat Draymond, he got brave again. And him getting rolling in those minutes where Draymond sat is what got him going. So when Draymond came back, he was a dog. And I love that because we needed that. He dropped 31, 10 rebounds, 5 assists on a closeout game on 28 shots. 28 shots. That's really all you can ask for when it comes down to the playoffs. Guys, don't look at efficiency for playoff games. Yes, efficiency tells the story of how many shots or percentage a player is making, but efficiency in the playoffs is not a true measure of the impact of a player's worth on a game. You look at moments. The playoffs are about moments. Who stepped up in those moments? Who are the players that made the shots when it counted, that got that stop, that key block? You think about some of the best games in NBA history. If you watch the actual games, there were long droughts of people not making any shots. You think about the step back Kyrie hit to beat the 72-win Warriors against the Cavs for almost 6 straight minutes of game time. Nobody scored, but nobody cares because all we remember is the shot he hit on Steph, right? We remember the James block, right? The chase down block on Iguodala. Like, we remember those moments. We remember Jordan hitting the step back on the Utah. You remember, all these games, these great games, the Kobe hitting the fadeaway on Orlando, and you remember all these things. But if you go look at the box scores, they're ugly because the playoffs is not about really efficiency. It's about moments because both teams are going to be inefficient. Now, of course, there are players that are efficient in games, but more often than not, it's not about efficiency, bro. Can you step up when it matters the most? because the possessions are so heavy. There's so much ride. Like, you could feel the tension in that game, game 4 against the Warriors on their home court, right? You could feel the stress on the players. The fact that they knew that every turnover, every bad shot, every missed shot could be potentially the reason that they lost. Every missed free throw, and they missed a hell of a lot of free throws, could be the reason that they lost. And to see young players like Şengün, like Amen, even though both of them were having terrible games in the first half, to come back and say the moment is here and I'm going to try to seize it, I like that. That's what you want to see from guys, right? You want to see from guys. Obviously, we're going to talk about Jaylen Green in a little bit. There's been a lot of discourse about him, and I'll get to that in a second. But, yeah, I think Şengün's 21 points in the second half was, to me, if I'm a general manager, I'm seeing that him taking on a team pretty much by himself, driving from the top of the key and just going to work. You like that from your 22-year-old all-star, right? This is what you want to see. These are the separator moments where you separate yourself from the rest of the team and say, get on my back, right? He's shown he could do that in stretches. And like he said in the post conference, he's young and he'll learn from the mistakes that he makes. He'll get stronger and less scary of Draymond. And, shout out to Draymond. Draymond has made a lot of punks out of some strong guys. I don't know if y'all remember, Draymond used to punk Clint Capella. He used to punk him straight up. They used to have to take him off the court because when Clint would go for his lobs, Draymond would get right under him, cut off his legs, get under him. So when he jumps, he doesn't have a landing spot. Clint would get hesitant, start, doing all this weird stuff, and Mike could just take him out. Draymond would get in Harden's head, getting physical, hitting him every time he drives. He starts complaining for fouls. They're not calling it. He's out the game, right? His mental's a shot. So Draymond he's a demon, man. He really does stir their drink when it comes to the Warriors. Like, I've said this a long time ago, he's just as important as Steph. No Draymond, no dynasty for the Warriors. I think Jabari played well. Didn't really have a big, statistics game, but when you watch the game, he's not scared of the moment. I would critique only one bad shot he took, where he took a three from the wing that had 3 Warriors contesting it. Like, I told y'all about shots like that and moments like that. That was in the fourth quarter. Little things like that lose you games. And I know it's like, well, let me nah, bro. I think the problem with our role players, they don't know their role. And that's not really their fault. That's on the coaching staff to establish the hierarchy either through the offense or through the plays that they're calling. But aside from that shot, Jabari, he's comfortable. I love that he's not scared of the moment. I just love that, man. I love that nothing ever looks too big for him in there. And obviously now people have taken it overboard and saying that we should run a lot of plays. Jabari is not a guy you're going to run plays for. He can't dribble. You give him the slightest ball pressure, he's going to turn it over. What he is good at is being an outlet valve, right, where he can get a kick out from the main action or attack a closeout off a defender that's very aggressively trying to go block his shooting a shot. When he gets in that bag and you can sprinkle in some post-up mismatches here and there, I think that's really what they need from him. To me, the issue with the Jabari not getting enough shots is the fact that he's not starting. And I know a lot of people like him coming off the bench. I don't think, and I'll talk about it in a second, I think Jabari should start. Because if you're going to be running a 2-man action, you need an outlet valve, and he's the main one that would be that. Amen Thompson is not an outlet valve in the playoffs. It's not. He's not, right? You can do it in the regular season, but the Warriors are very intentional about guarding the paint and putting bodies in the paint and in the restricted area. And so the Amen cutting in becomes useless, right? So now he's forced to have to get the kick out and then either try to create into a crowded paint or shoot a 3 or a jump shot. And that is just not effective for him right now. So, but Jabari, I think he's playing well. I'd love to see him get more minutes. I think he only got 22 minutes in game 4. Now let's get to disappointments. Obviously, we'll start off with Jaylen Green, right? There's been a lot of varying takes, and I can't blame anybody. If you're out on Jaylen Green because he hasn't performed up to the standards, I'm not mad at that, right? I'm not mad at that. Obviously, I'm disappointed in his performance. And the reason I'm disappointed is that is not even the 3, it's the 8 on that 3 of 8 that he took. There is no way in a game potentially that would have this much gravity understanding the fact that if you go down 3-1, it's pretty much curtains, that your leading scorer, your shooting guard, only takes 8 shots. Only takes 8 shots. And at that point, it's like he's just in a mental malaise. He's shell-shocked. I don't know what you call it, but to me, that is what was disappointing and unacceptable. Like, you cannot take 8 shots, bro. I don't care if you went 3 for 20, 3 for 25. Empty the clip, bro. Empty the clip. That is my motto when it comes to this. You got to empty the clip. You cannot have this passiveness in a moment like this on national TV, in front of millions of viewers, in front of the entire fan base, with your GM and your whole team there relying on you. And I think that was disappointing to see because, to me, these are mental hurdles that I don't want a player to have to deal with. Like, I don't want to deal with the mental stuff. Physically, dude got all the gifts in the world, and he can pretty much do, a lot of stuff on the court that a lot of other players can't do. But a lot of it doesn't mean nothing if the mentality isn't there. And I was really shocked at that performance, just from the lack of aggression standpoint. I understand. If you watch the video breakdown I did, I explained why he did well in Game 2 and why he struggled in the Game 1, and that theme carried on. When Draymond guards the pick and roll and they're forcing a switch to Draymond, Jaylen, just like Şengün, gets scared, right? Because he's not going to be able to just go downhill and attack Draymond like he was doing post. But it even got so bad with Jaylen, he couldn't beat Buddy Hield. Bro, you can't break down Moses Moody and Buddy Hield and Steph. They're clamping you up. So that becomes a problem. So I think the mental part spilled over, and you cannot have that, bro. This is the moment where guys are relying on you. There's a lot of angst in the fan base about what to do with him. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but that was disappointing for me. Also, Amen Thompson overall in the playoffs, second-year player, I'm going to give a disclaimer. He's been bad. He has been bad. There is nothing that you could point at that he's doing extremely well. The rebounding has been so-so. The defense has not been great, right? The defense has actually probably been bad. Like, he's been – most of our bad defense lineups, he's in there. And the issue with that is it's a mixture of age and experience and lack of understanding of the game at this level. Like, you can't prepare for what he's seeing against the Warriors. You think about what makes a man what makes him good, like what makes him an elite defender, is his athleticism and his ability to be able to use his length, speed, and power against opposing offenses and just plaster himself to that player, right? And so he is imposing on a player. The problem is the Warriors, their offense isn't player-based, even though it is ran through players. You can't guard a philosophy. That's what the Warriors run. Motion offenses are concepts and philosophies of basketball. And no matter how athletic you are, no matter how dominant you are, how big, how fast, how high you can jump, if you can't read a split cut, then they're going to cut on you, right? If you don't know when to switch out or stay home or don't get a go screen on you or give up a back cut, then it doesn't matter how fast you could jump. They're just going to get to the basket. They're going to get the shot off. They're going to be able to trick you. So it's a mental type of game that you got to play in the playoffs that's really not about the physicals as much as it is, like I said, the mentals. And I think for him being so young, second-year player, at this stage, having to guard one of the best two-man actions in NBA history on one of the best players in NBA history, I mean, it's wearing him thin, and you could see it, bro. He was a team worst minus 17 in this game. And if we're going to dig into some of the on-off stats right now. So let's look at it. So I posted a thing on Twitter today looking at the on-off numbers of our players through the playoffs so far. So meaning when this player is on the court, how much is the team winning or losing by? And when they're off the court, how much is the team winning or losing by? First player, Tari Eason. When he's on the court, we are actually losing by minus 5 points. Now we're down 3-1. So to me, if you're hovering around 0, whether you're negative, if you're losing or slightly winning, it's, you take it with a grain of salt, right? It's not like it's an even series. So we've lost most of the game. Even though the margins have been close, it's still, minus 5 isn't horrible. When he's on the court, we are a -5. We're losing the game -5. When he's off the court, we're winning by plus 3.6. Take that with a grain of salt. Once again, the margins, give or take here, but the Rockets are better when Tari isn't on the court, right? Steven Adams, obviously. Steven Adams on the court, we're winning by 14.8 points per 100 possession. Rockets are winning by plus 14.8 when Steven Adams is on the court. And when he's off the court, we're losing by 10 points. When Jaylen is on the court, the Rockets are losing by minus 1.8. He's been bad, but he hasn't been that bad. I know he gets a lot of grief, but only by minus 1.8. So he's been pretty much a neutral on the court. And when he's off the court, we're better, plus 4.6. We're winning the game by almost 5 points. So, you know what I mean? That's what, a 6 point net rating when he's not on the court. So I think just keep that in mind, because I'm going to talk about the lineups for game 5 later. But it's okay. He's not he hasn't been just horrible. I think the last game really did leave a bad taste in the way he was acting, kind of the passiveness. But overall, the defense, let's not forget about that. The defense he's been playing, he's been, to me, a neutral. Jabari on the court, we are losing, minus 3.4. So once again, when you're almost 4 in that minus 5 range, because we're losing the series overall, it's almost neutral to me. So Jabari's been a neutral. And when he's off the court, we're winning by plus 3.9. Dylan Brooks, when he's on the court, we're losing by minus 1.6. So pretty much neutral. When he's off the court, plus 2.7. So he's a pretty much even player. Şengün, when he's on the court, we are winning by plus 7.3, right? So Şengün, and keep in mind, this is in a series, in aggregate of a series, we're losing 3-1. He's been a plus 7.3. And here's the one that's really funny. When he's off the court, the Rockets are losing the game by minus 25. When this man is off the court, we're losing the game by minus 25 points per 100 possessions. That means if we played 100 possessions and we scored if there was 100 points to be scored in a 100 possession game, the other team would beat us pretty much 100-75, right? That would be a 25-point blowout without Alp on the court. Fred VanVleet, when he's on the court, 0.2. When he's off the court, 0. So Fred is playing it even, so that's a positive to me. And then Amen, this one's going to break y'all heart, bro. When Amen is on the court, the Rockets are losing by 10 points. That's significant. When he's off the court, we're winning the game by plus 19.9. That is a 30-point net differential. That is a 30-point net differential. Amen is as bad as Şengün is good. That's the best way I can put it. As good as Şengün is, the impact, Amen is just as bad on the Rockets. And the question you have to ask is why? It's why. And it comes down to, simply put, comes down to spacing. It comes down to spacing. So if they're struggling with the men out there with the double bigs, that does beg the question as to what lineups do you want out there in Game 5? And we heard Ime talk about this a little bit in the post-conference, saying that lineup changes are on the table. And you start thinking, what is your starting 5? Would you change the starting 5? Now, for me, I'm going to shock y'all. I'm not changing the starting 5. But I will put a very short leash on certain players on the starting 5. Player number 1 that has an incredibly short leash is Jaylen Green. Jaylen Green obviously is going through it right now, but I'm not going to take him out the starters because I need that kid. I need him, right? Jaylen has a purpose on our team as a scorer. When he does his job, we win. When he doesn't do his job, we lose, right? Because he is given that cachet and opportunity to do so. In this game, I'm watching Jaylen's temperament. I'm watching his approach. I'm watching his mentality, the way he carries himself in the game. If he is off and doing crash out stuff early, I'm getting him out. And my first sub is going to be Steven Adams. And the second player I'm watching is Amen Thompson. If he can't figure out how to be effective on the court, on offense or defense, then he's getting out. And I'm looking at Steven Adams as well. And my two key players that I'm going to bring in is going to be Steven Adams and Jabari Smith Jr. The trio of Şengün, Steven Adams and Jabari Smith is like a plus a million or something like that. It's something crazy. Like that triple big trio is let me see. I actually put it down. It is let's see. Okay, I thought I wrote it down. I think it's a plus something. Plus some like 50 some, 70 some. That trio of bigs is just killing the Warriors right now because you have rebounding. You got Jabari out there to neutralize one of the non-shooters with his shooting. And to me, when I'm building lineups, I can have non-shooters out there, but you have to counter the non-shooters with some shooting, right? For every non-shooter, I think you can have one net non-shooter on a basketball court. As that, so you can have 3 non-shooters, but 2 of the other players have to be decent from the perimeter to neutralize that, especially if your non-shooters could pass. That really helps. But I'm watching their temperament. I'm watching their approach, right? I'm not worried about Amen so much in his mentality because I don't think he's scared. I don't think his is just functional. Like, he got limitations in his game right now he needs to work on. But Jaylen, I can't live and die by Jaylen Green, right? I noticed that when Jaylen was kind of benched in that game, they went to Şengün just ISOing from the top of the key, right? Hey, F it. It's the playoffs, bro. We might start off like that because every possession matters. Y'all are about to see the apex of basketball when it comes to desperation, intensity, when it comes to the chess match that is the coaches going back and forth, substitutions. Steve-O is going to have to play damn near 40, bro, because that double big killing him. He going to have to play like 38, 40 minutes. So he better ice it up. Like, he going to have to play. Şengün, put on your big boy pants, bro. Like, they going to you. They are going to you. This is going to be a thing where I don't want to start off with trying to figure Jaylen out. I ain't got time for that. Let's get to the business, bro. Damn the foreplay. Let's get straight to it. Right? You got to get straight to it. Like, we getting straight to it. Let's get to it. Like, we don't have time to try to figure ourselves like, all right, bro, we going to start off here. If you show something, we might pivot and go with what works. But I'm going straight to Şengün. Right? Right now, Şengün has the highest points per possession in post-ups in the playoffs. I think it's 1.10. 1.10 per synergy on NBA, right? On offensive play styles, if you look at the post-ups, he's generating 1.10 points per 100 possession, which is good. That's good. That's the best in the NBA. And to me, we have to go to it, right? He has to be mindful to pass out of it, but Ime has to put spacers around it. Now, if we're going to have double bigs in there, it's going to be hard for him to post up because everybody's around him, right? So they got to be a little creative. I'd like to see Tari and Jabari out there with him because some of those lineups are really good. So Ime is going to have to, and this is on Ime Udoka too. He doesn't get off scot-free with this because he hasn't been his best self. Steve Kerr has won the chess matches. The hack of Adams, right? Going to the right guys, subbing the right players in, attacking subtle mismatches, alignment that forces us into bad positions, playing off of our weaknesses. The Warriors have always had a leg up on us on the court and on the sidelines. Ime got to be on point. You cannot waste bad substitutions. Some of these lineups are just weird. I do not want to see Amen Thompson with the double bigs. It just doesn't work because we can't shoot already. You're just making it harder. So I'm excited, guys. I don't know if you could tell. This game is going to be the most significant thing that's going to happen to the Rockets players and their future. This game coming up right here, win or lose. To me, how they go out is going to determine their entire summer and how they start next year. So I'm excited to see that. For Jaylen Green, I know we joke a lot about legacy games, right? You make a little joke about a bad player and just say legacy game. This literally is a Jaylen Green legacy game, especially for the Houston fan base, right? I'm not with trade Jaylen. I still have faith in Jaylen. You know what I mean? The first playoffs is rough. Some guys, you gotta get hit in the mouth before you know how to take it next time, how to bounce back. But, bro, Jaylen, empty the clip. Let it go. Let it go, bro. There's no shots you can take with you to the offseason. There's not a foul you can try to get in the offseason. Just leave it all on the court. Leave it all on the court. Everybody, men, Şengün, Jabari, Tari, the young core, because I know Fred and Dylan, they know what's up. Leave it on the court, bro. Blood, sweat, and tears. It's going to be blood, guts, and glory messing with Draymond. But Game 5, this is it. This is what legends are made of. Whether you win or lose, empty the clip. Empty the clip. Go down swinging or give yourself enough to live to fight another day. That is what it's going to come down to. I got us winning. I got us winning. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. Keep rocking with the Chop Shop. I'm going to keep dropping that.